Hi everyone, it's Rayleigh here from Sunflower Stitches and Quilting with a creative wrap up of what I've been sewing in the last couple of weeks. So this will be hopefully the first of a new series this year where I can show you what I'm actually getting to be creative with. So let's start. This is the collection here and I'm very pleased with the amount of things I've been able to do. Let's start with these. You may have seen these. These are the Christmas tree napkins, and they're various patterns online. And you can see I've stitched these in. Will that green thread show up? Yes, it does. So I've stitched them in green thread, and then when you fold them, you get that Christmas tree effect. So I had 4 of them that were cut out, and I have they've been cut out since last Christmas, to be honest. So I have now sewn them all together so they can go inside to my napery drawer, shall we say, to use for next Christmas. So there are those. I'll just put them over to the side. Admire, if you will, my very clear craft table, which is fantastic. It's not usually this clear. Okay, these are little, I had these samples of Liberty fabrics, and they're just short strips. I think they were like, they were pretty much no longer than what they are there, so they've created almost a square, and I have just quilted it quite simply with straight lines. That one's done in more of a diagonal or a diamond fashion. And I'd done these at our retreat in October last year. This one was all the pinks and yellows, and that one is just done in a crosshatch quilting. So nice and simple with the walking foot, and made the stitch a little bit longer, and so I think I've set it on about 3. And this one is done with pink thread on the front and a matching, it's like a light yellow actually, on the back. And all I had to do was bind them. So they've been sitting there for months, or a couple of months at least, waiting for me to bind them. So that's now done. These are just little mini quilts, and they will go on near my kettle when you make a cup of tea and you put your spoon down, or you spill the sugar, or whatever happens in a house with lots of people, and it will catch stuff and makes it easier to keep my bench a little bit nice and clean. So those 2 are now complete as well, so they can go inside ready to be used. They are beautiful and soft because this is that really fine weave Liberty fabric. They're just beautiful. So that's those ones. These ones are leftovers from that quilt, so we'll get to that in a sec. These ones here are a bag. So I made these as well, if you get our yearly thread box, you might find one of these inside. And it's just a gorgeous little craft bag. It does up with some ribbons, and it's got this little petal. I'll hold it in camera so you can see it. Got this little petal design. It's just a soft bag, so you can put your work stuff in it and take it, on the go. Throw it in the car if you need to, and yeah, you can use it for whatever. I think they're quite handy. Really quick and easy make, and not difficult at all. So this one, obviously there's 2 bits of fabric, the outside and the inside. Can you see the 2 there? And with this one I've used 2 lengths of ribbon, and I also made the little ribbon tabs just to make it easier to pull on the ribbon. This one was 2 coordinating fabrics as well. It's rose print and a spot. This one only has 1 ribbon, so you can just pull it sideways like so. Again, just nice and soft, so if you have a project, quick little thing that you can just grab and go. So they're very handy to have around. Not a difficult make at all. So that's those ones. All right, let's go with this quilt at the back here. This was some leftover half square triangles given to me by a friend who had done the project, and these were the leftovers, so I'm just going to put it, there you go. So I've just done it in a bit of a square arrangement, but you know, off point, off center, not off point, off center. And so it's quite higgledy-piggledy, and literally just sewed it together. It's probably a good cot size, and so that's handy. I did have enough of the green, thankfully, just in strips, so there's actually quite a few joins in this binding, but I'm not usually this organized to have binding ready to go, but I was given these by my good friend Danny, and they are binding holders, and so the binding is made and ready to go, pinned. So when this is quilted, I am all set. So I was really pleased to be able to use these pretty much, you know, a week after I was given them. It was fantastic. So I don't know where she got them from, but they are very cool. All right, so that's this quilt. I'm in a bit of a process of going through my studio, and if you've seen some stories on or reels on Instagram, you'll see that I am doing a bit of a tidy up, and I'm using up or finishing up projects that are in my studio, and this is one of them. So that's this quilt. Now this quilt here is much the same. I don't know where the blocks came from. Again, I think I was given them, and they've sat languishing in my studio for many months, possibly even a couple of years. So I decided that's it, they're going together in a quilt. So now they are hopefully in a pleasing arrangement, and I have one block left over because yeah, there was just one block. So I decided this block, being with the white background, I'm going to use this one as the label on the back of the quilt. I've yet to work out backing for both this quilt and the green, the one with the green in it, but you know, the quilt top is together, so I'm going to take that as a win. So this one is going to become the label for the back of the quilt. And I also have, there was enough leftover bits and pieces. Actually, let's pause there for a sec. This is the quilt from which the leftovers of these came. So most of these were still in fairly large chunks. So let me just fling this quilt a little bit further away. There we go, up there into the background. And so most of the blocks, there were still lots and lots of fabrics left, like big chunks of the fabric. This one a little bit less. You can see there's a, well, you may not see there's a line down there, but you can see this top edge has had you know, some piecing to make it a bit bigger, and then the backing is you know, coordinating, but it was in one piece. These are also table napkins, a double-sided design of table napkins. So let's open this one. There we go. So this is the front, and then the way you sew it together, you end up with this sort of a self-bound edge, which is great. So those two sort of seem to coordinate, so I put them together. And these are all now ready to go as well. So when I cut squares from each of these, oh, let's move those out of the way. I quite like this one. These are, this one might become my napkin with the red, and then this pink chevron that just looks really cool. So you cut squares. One of the squares, this outer fabric, is a larger square than this one, and there were leftover rectangles from the fat quarters or whatever there was. So there's a whole heap of these. I should quite like this one as well, this green one. I did have to piece this one, so you can see the pattern here and here is a little bit different, but I've pieced it to make it the same size as the rest of them, or almost the same size. Oh, and the backing fabric, it's just really bright. Look at that. So very cool. So back to the leftover rectangles. In a bit of the, use it up, wear it out, all that sort of stuff. And using all of the fabric, I had strips left over from this, which became the binding for that quilt, because that quilt is these fabrics, but it's, with the backing. So you can see, there you go, the binding changes color very quickly. You can see there's only a short section of that apricot color, and then there's a couple of blues, and then we get into the purple. See, there's only a really short section of the purple. So there's lots of joins in this, but going on that quilt, I don't think it's going to be a problem. And then I was able to use another one. I was given a set of 3 of these, and they're just so good. So thanks, Danny, they're brilliant. And so yeah, I am now organized again with this one, and the binding is ready-made, ready to go. So I am putting a pin through all of that, and that's all ready for that quilt. So I'm feeling quite accomplished in the last couple of weeks. So if January is a bit of a slower time for you, I encourage you to go through not your wardrobe. You can go through your wardrobe if you like. Go through your sewing room and pull out a project you haven't touched, haven't made some progress on, and see what you can actually finish, which would be great. Oh, I have one more thing. They were hanging up just nearby. Look, these are not full yet, but these little triangular things are going to be pattern weights. So I've got a hole here ready to fill with some sawdust or something like that, and then stitch that closed, and it will become a pattern weight for one day when I'm cutting out some garment making stuff. All right, I'm feeling pretty accomplished. I'm encouraging you to go and get into a project, finish off something that, like these, that just need one more step. You'd be amazed how much that little bit of creativity, finishing something off, will encourage you to do more. Happy quilting, everyone. One of the gifts I'm giving at Christmas time, belatedly, but is these microwave bowls. So I have used cotton wadding, cotton fabric, cotton thread, and they are, ready to go. You can see a bit of the shape of it there. I've used matching fabric top and bottom for these 3, and they are a belated gift for some friends. This is one of my finishes in the studio. The last couple of weeks has been taking a panel like this to the individual bunting pieces, and then creating a very long set of bunting, basically. So this is going to be a gift, which is why I am filming this before the other lot. So it's all done. The original just takes 2 bits of fabric. Probably easier if you do it as the large bit of fabric, and then put the Blasfix on the back, add it to another large bit of fabric, and then cut them out. Much easier. And you can see there's lots of different designs on pre-printed bunting triangles. So this one is now done and out of my cupboard.